Could you say a little bit about why you're here protesting and many other people your age aren't?
I don't know why many other people my age aren't, but I wish they were. I wish they were. You know, there's a lot of different issues in this country that are going on right now, and people identify with different issues. So,
can you say a little bit about your own motivation and when you started being anti-war?
I started working for Code Pink almost a year ago now, and that was the beginning of my activism.
Was there some sort of gradual transition, or was there an aha moment, or what?
I had always been extremely anti-war. At the beginning of the Iraq War, I was very upset, very disillusioned. And as it progressed, I got angrier and angrier and felt that I needed to do something about it.
Do you think that electoral politics as such is a good way to change government policy on the war, or do you think direct action is more effective?
I think it takes an important combination of both. I think we need to try to go through the channels we have available to us, but also acknowledge that there are serious issues in this country right now that need more direct action, and that we can't always wait for the legislative bureaucracy to work its way.
There's a lot of demonstrations in a lot of places in the world these days where people are taking direct action against their governments. How do you see what you're doing fits into that trend?
I mean, I think struggles for peace and liberation and freedom are the same wherever they are, and they're all connected. And if this is one of those times in history where people are all uniting together, no matter what country or what war they're fighting against, and trying to really do something and change the world we're living, because it's going in such a scary direction.
Tell us who you are and why you're here.
My name is Tiffany. I am an organizer with Code Pink, and we're out here today protesting against a high-ticket fundraiser that Hillary Clinton is doing with supporters that she has here in Southern California.
Now, most people think that Democrats in Beverly Hills are pretty liberal. What do you think?
I think that Democrats that support a candidate that refuses to support a platform for getting out of Iraq, not that liberal.
They're also thought of as pretty smart. Do you think most of them know or don't know what Senator Clinton's position on the war is?
I think a lot of people are uneducated and tend to assume that because Hillary Clinton is on the left on many other issues that she's got to be for getting out of Iraq, and that's just simply not the truth.
How do you account for the fact that, that she's perceived as being on the left on a lot of issues, she's not on the left on the war?
I think that, she has definitely made a strong presence and an interest in running for president, and that there, is this myth that in order to be a strong presidential candidate, you have to be, strong and show the world that you're not afraid to go into war if it was necessary. And it takes more courage and more strength to say that we shouldn't be in a war that was illegal to start with.
I know you can't speak for her, but do you think that Senator Clinton is sincere in her support for the war, or hypocritical?
I think she's sincere, because otherwise she would clearly say we need to be out today. I mean, she's had many opportunities. There's nothing to prevent her from joining with, her other political counterparts that have come out and said, you know what, 3 years ago I was misinformed, I didn't, know what I was voting for, but now that I have this information, we need to get out, and she still refuses to do that.
How important would her changing her position on the war be in terms of an anti-war movement?
Immense. I mean, you have people that say it's better to have any Democrat in office than it is to have a Republican in office, and it's better to have a candidate in office that wants to get out of Iraq regardless of what their party platform is. And I think if Hillary were to come forward, that would really be the strength for, the so-called liberals to be able to come together and get behind something and have a potentially strong candidate.
Would you be willing to support her for president if she adopted your position on the war?
Absolutely.
Who is the target of your demonstration today? Who are you trying to persuade?
All of the limousines driving by and people that are contributing to Hillary's, campaign.
How much of an effect do you expect to have standing on the corner as they drive by?
It's amazing how uninformed people are, and a lot of people go in there and are going to come home and want to look up what was all that commotion outside. And I think getting the information that, wow, there are people out there who are liberals and I'm a liberal, and I'm supporting Hillary and she's supporting the war, is kind of a surprise to people. So it's really important to be out here.
So what would count as a success for you in terms of this demonstration?
If one of her supporters went inside and said to Hillary, if I'm giving you my money, I want to know that you're representing the majority of American people out there, and if you don't step up to the plate and say we need to be out now, I'm no longer going to continue to support you financially.
If, as you say, she's sincere in her support for the continuation of U.S. occupation of Iraq, Do you think that her supporters telling her that they won't give her money if she doesn't change her position is likely to affect her position?
Absolutely. I mean, I think a politician is a politician, and they can't be supportive unless they know that they have a strong contingent of financial supporters out there and people with, other influences, and that's the strongest way to get that message to her.
Are there any candidates for president who have announced or seem likely who have a better position on the war that you would support if the election were held now?
I think everyone is walking on eggshells. To my knowledge, we haven't had one presidential candidate come forward that's serious and has a real shot, that's been openly for getting out of the war. But I think that that's going to change as more and more criticism is shown, on Hillary and other potential Democratic candidates that are pro-war and not coming out, that there will be someone who will step forward and gets the bigger picture.
Thank you.
I'm wide enough to see the wolf ears.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay. So, tell us about the wolf ears.
Well, we're out here and it looks like it's, kind of funny costume, but it's really to show all of the supporters going inside. And Hillary's a sheep in wolf in sheep's clothing.
Let's do that again. Alright, so tell us about the funny ears.
So the ears are out here to make the point to all the people driving inside that Hillary is a wolf in sheep's clothing.
How so?
Because she comes out as this candidate that seems very progressive, very liberal, and says what a lot of people want to hear. But the bottom line is that the one issue that she needs to really stand up for, where people are dying every day, including U.S. troops and Iraqi families, she refuses to take a strong stand on.
So is your goal to persuade her or to get her defeated in New York this fall?
Our goal is, preferably to persuade her and all of the people supporting her, use their influence and let her know that, the majority of Americans want to be out of Iraq. They want to support a candidate that wants to be out of Iraq. And if Hillary has a real shot at winning the election, that she needs to use that in this constituency.
In the absence of persuading her, do you hope to be persuasive to the voters of New York?
Absolutely. I think that the point we're making out here today is that if Hillary's not willing to step up to the plate, there are a lot of other peace candidates out there who are, and that, our voice is louder than one candidate who's running. So a change needs to happen.
Is it possible that she is, obviously she's very carefully constructed the statement she's made on the war, and she said she wants the troops to come home, but just not immediately. That she's trying to walk a thin line so that she can be elected.
I believe that that's what's happening, but the problem is that she's, standing behind an issue that we need her to be the strongest on. The myth that, we need somebody in office who's strong, and if we had to go to war, would be afraid to do that. But the reality is it takes a lot more courage and strength to stand up and say, this is a mistake, and we need to pull out now.
And then looking further down the political spectrum, is there a possibility this is a frying pan into the fire? That if you bring down Hillary Clinton, you get somebody worse from your perspective?
No way. I think that our perspective is that if we bring down Hillary Clinton, that's a clear and loud message to other people running, that our voice is that we want to be out of Iraq and we will only support a candidate that's on the state platform.
Should Hillary feel pretty good that there aren't more people out here protesting her tonight?
No, I think Hillary knows it's LA, traffic, people are stuck. But the small crowd that's out here represents a huge number of people here with us.
Okay, Tiffany, any points we missed?
For more information, check out our website, it's goodthinkforward.org. A lot of people are misinformed and kind of give us a confused look when they drive by and say, wait a minute, I thought Hillary was really good on stuff. And so it's important to inform yourself and find out why we're out here protesting and know what candidates like Hillary are representing.
Actually, let me ask you one more political question, because during her husband's presidency, Hillary Clinton was so demonized by the right. Are there any qualms about the left now demonizing her?
We're not demonizing Hillary. The scary thing is that, you have someone like Hillary who was the first lady in her husband's, presidency, and now she herself is a politician. And so instead of just really being forthright with the people, she's being the ultimate politician and trying to please everyone, and it's just not working. There's a serious issue on the table that she needs to stand up and answer for, and she's just failing to do that. And so it's not at all about bringing Hillary down or bringing a female politician down. It's about saying to someone that you have a responsibility to the American people, to the Iraqi people, and the rest of the world, in your position to come up, stand up for what's right.
Fabulous. Do me a favor, hang on for the cutaway shot. Now, got to ask about your intelligence. How did you find out about this event? Because the Clinton campaign is resolutely not saying anything about this tonight.
There's actually a website called Hillary Tracker, the Hillary Tracker. So I think it's actually hillarytracker.org. And they post all of her public appearances. So, I mean, there's a national campaign about bird-dogging Hillary. Our organization has done actions against her in New York, Chicago, so it's a lot easier than you would think.
So hillarytracker.org is the one that got the particulars on the event?
Yeah. And it's posted, and then you can go right to the website. It's Friends of Hillary, and they put out the information, for people wanting to attend the event.
Yeah, but you kind of have to register before they give you any particulars.
No, actually, there's up online. There's an invitation that openly has the address that you can get to really easily.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't do that myself, but I asked somebody to go to the website for me. They couldn't find anything on it.
They had all of the information posted in the address where it would be.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
All right. Well, I guess I get your left hand to shake.
Thank you very much.
All right.
We're talking to Samantha from Code Pink. Tell us why you're here and why you think this is important.
I'm here tonight because Hillary's a warmonger, and we need to tell her supporters that they are paying for another war candidate. So many people just assume that Hillary's against the war because she's a woman and a Democrat, and that's a completely false assumption. She needs to be called on for her voting record. People need to know exactly what they're paying for, and we're out here to tell them.
Who's the audience that you're trying to convince of your point of view? Hillary Clinton, the people who are here, the general public?
All of them. We were just in the store earlier, and a woman said, "Why are you protesting Hillary?" And we said, "Because she's against the war," and the woman had no clue. And I'm sure a lot of her donors have no clue.
So you're saying the general perception is that Senator Clinton is against the war?
And that's not true at all. She's a warmonger. She voted for the war, and she continues to support it.
Give us your position on the war and what you think the U.S. government should do now.
I'm absolutely against it, and we need to pull the troops out as soon as possible.
Thank you very much.
She voted for the war, and she continues to support it, refused to support any plan for troop withdrawal, and so she's no better than a wolf in sheep's clothing. She acts like a liberal and talks like a liberal, but then goes and votes for the war, and she is good on so many other issues, but she is supporting the war, she's supporting the Bush administration's mistakes, and she needs to be told differently, and her supporters need to know what they're paying for.
And what's the message you want to get to her today?
That she needs to support immediate troop withdrawal from Iraq and admit that she made a mistake, like so many other Democrats have done.
There's a lot of people who initially didn't support the war, but now think that it's sort of like beyond the point of no return, that they have to stay in Iraq. What would you say to them?
People are dying every day in Iraq. American troops, Iraqi civilians. It needs to end. You can't make peace with more war. It's not.
Do you think if U.S. troops withdrew that it would put an end to the war there, or do you think now?
We are the war. The American troops are making the war there. If they were to pull out and let the Iraqis rebuild Iraq, then that would absolutely. That's what the Iraqi women want. That's what we had Iraqi women in the country speaking all over, and they all said the troops need to go home now and leave Iraq to the Iraqis.
And that President Bush is obviously also making a visit to California.
Yes, he is up north.
Are you guys planning anything?
I believe our Code Pink up in Northern California will be at whatever events he's going to be at.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No.
What's your name?
I'm Samantha from Code Pink Women for Peace.
And your last name?
Miller. Samantha Miller from Code Pink Women for Peace.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
No.
Tell me about what's the message here. Why are you all so upset?
Because Hillary is a warmonger. She voted for the war. She continues to support the war.
Is that why you're calling her a ham hock or something?
A Republican chicken hawk. Yes, I believe those were the exact words.
Ham hock. But what's the deal? I know it's Code Pink, but explain to me why the pink color and stuff.
We're Code Pink Women for Peace. This is our organization. We wear pink as a symbol of power and peacefulness. And we believe that Hillary, as a woman, as a supposed liberal, needs to really stand up and take a strong stance against the war. The American people know it's wrong, the Iraqi people know it's wrong, and her supporters know it's wrong.
Don't you think it's funny, in a sense, because you would expect to be here protesting if a Republican lawmaker was coming, and here it's a Democratic senator?
And we would love to support Hillary. We would really love to support Hillary if she changed her position on the war. She would have my vote, and I'm sure all of our votes, if she changed her position on the war.
And your name?
I'm Samantha Miller, Code Pink Women for Peace.
Thank you very much. So it'll be 10 o'clock, Channel 11.
Thank you.
So it's not ham hock, it's...
Chicken hawk.
Thank you. I knew it was some kind of...
Yeah, some sort of hawk.
Tell us who you are and why you're here.
My name's George Rainey. I'm here because I'd like to express myself to all the progressives, liberals, people out there who don't know about Hillary Clinton's support of the war from the beginning and throughout, and her continued support for the war, and wake them up and make her realize that she's not a progressive candidate as long as she continues to support this war. If over 70% of the American public no longer wants this war to go on, and we need to put a stop to this, we also need American people to know that this woman does not represent the majority of Democrats and progressives in this country.
What's your position on the war, and what would you like to see the U.S. government do now?
I would like to see a pullout from Iraq.
Could you give us a brief history of Senator Clinton's positions on the war?
All I know is that she's supported all the funding measures so far, and us going in.
And what would you like her to do now?
I'd like to see her have a soulful change of heart, truly from the heart about this, and wise up, and basically re-educate America about this failed, flawed policy.
Most people think that Democrats in Beverly Hills are pretty liberal. What do you think?
I think she's pulling the wool over people's eyes, and people are, being fooled by this. Just because she's a woman doesn't mean that she's necessarily progressive in all matters.
Thank you.
K-I-L-L-I-N-G. Bush and Hillary sitting in D.C. K-I-L-L-I-N-G. Bush and Hillary sitting in D.C. K-I-L-L-I-N-G.
Bush and Hillary sitting in D.C. K-I-L-L-I-N-G.
Bush and Hillary
sitting in D.C. K-I-L-L-I-N-G. Bush and Hillary sitting in D.C. K-I-L-L-I-N-G. Bush and Hillary sitting in D.C. K-I-L-L-I-N-G.
So you don't need a bullhorn. You do that pretty good. Obviously, strong feelings. Tell me about the feeling about Hillary and literally is selling out everybody because she's supporting the war.
I've been a progressive Democrat all my life. I've supported Democrats, including the Clinton administration, all my life. And I feel like we've been sold out because this war is part of the Bush administration's policy to continue to propagate this whole oil madness, this addiction, if you will. And we're losing hundreds of lives, hundreds of American lives, and we're slaughtering almost a genocide, if you will, going on in Iraq. And we've got to wake up and sober up to this.
Are you surprised that you're here protesting and it's a Democratic lawmaker you're protesting?
I am totally surprised because she's pulled the wool over many Democrats' eyes. We think that we have a woman who's a progressive candidate who would be, pro-environment, strong on most progressive values, and they don't ask that question. How does she stand on the war? We're here to tell folks she is for this war and continuing this horrible policy that the Bush administration is pushing. I don't know.
But is that surprising? A lot of these folks go by. Is it surprising to a lot of folks when you tell them she's supporting the war? They probably aren't, aware of that because it's Democratic. You think of the Clinton administration.
I absolutely don't think that most Democrats probably are not aware that she supports the war. There's probably a surprise, and it's time for America to have a wake-up call of all their legislators, all their members of Congress, and candidates who are running for president to ask them, how do you stand on the war, and what is your policy for the future about this war?
Okay, and what's your name, sir?
My name's George Rainey.
George, how do you spell your last name?
R-A-N-E-Y.
All right, George. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, you take care.
Thank you.
First, tell us who you are.
I'm Kathleen Hernandez.
Okay, and are you involved with Code Pink?
I'm involved with, I associate with Code Pink also, but I'm a Veterans for Peace supporter, and I'm a member of the Topanga Peace Alliance.
What's your position on the war, and why are you here today?
I think we should bring our troops home right now and take care of them when they get here. We are fighting an illegal, immoral war.
What's the importance of Hillary Clinton's position on the war?
Well, she's for the war. And I don't think any war is a good war. We need to solve our problems in the 21st century in a much more nonviolent way. I think we're advanced enough to be able to do that.
What do you hope to accomplish by demonstrating here today?
I hope she will listen to our voices and consider that perhaps she needs to take a different position on the war and the Patriot Act and NAFTA and other things that affect the people of the world that are struggling every day to survive.
What's your position on the war? What would you like the U.S. government to do today about the war?
Bring the troops home now. There's trains and boats and airplanes, and they can bring them home. And we should have an international coalition. We should be away from the cities. We should not post bases in other nearby countries to go and aerial bomb them. We need to bring our troops home.
How long were you in there?
Like 2.5 hours.
And what did they charge you with?
Misdemeanor trespassing, citizen's arrest, not a big deal. Yeah, exactly.
Could you comment on your headgear and its symbolic meaning?
Yeah. Oh. I'm sorry. No, Hillary. That was Gray Davis driving by.
That was Gray Davis.
We had to really send him a message.
I really recognized him, yes.
But we're out here, you know, making a point to all of the people driving inside that even though Hillary seems like this really progressive, great candidate, the one issue that we need her to respond to, she's just totally ignoring, and so she's a wolf in sheep's clothing, you know?
Are these headgear available on your website at a reasonable price, or do you have to be a member of Code Pink in order to qualify to wear them?
No, we would gladly hand them out to anybody who wants to don them, and we crafted them in about an hour, so that you either have to just be able to construct them yourself or willing to put one on.
Okay, they're not available for sale on the website yet?
No,
okay.
No, but I'm sure we'll put instructions up there about how to make them.
Great, thank you.